I'm Dr. Ishu. I'm Deputy Consultant in Neurology Department at Sir H.N. Reliance Foundation Hospital. Today we are going to talk about meningitis, basically all the information that you must know about meningitis. So beginning with what is meningitis? Meningitis is a inflammation of the meninges of the brain. By meninges of the brain, I mean that there is a covering that covers our brain and it gets inflamed when it is subjected to some kind of infection. Most commonly it is bacterial or viral infection, but in some cases uncommonly it can also be caused by fungal infection or by autoimmune disorders like SLE. But the most common cause of infection of this meninges is bacteria and virus. So from where do we acquire these organisms, the bacteria and the viruses that I am talking about? So mostly this infection is acquired from the bloodstream itself. So whenever we are moving outside, we continuously inhale and get exposed to many kind of organisms like bacteria and viruses, which get lodged in our system, most commonly in the lung. But because of our immunity in the body, they do not manifest themselves. But these bacteria and viruses, they have an access to the bloodstream. When this infected blood reaches the brain, it may cross the blood-brain barrier, which is a very effective barrier in preventing the crossing of these kind of infection. But if there is any damage to the blood-brain barrier, these viruses and bacteria, they get access to our brain and they infect the meninges. So this is how we acquire the meningitis. The chances of acquiring these infections increase if we are immunocompromised, like if we are on certain medications to suppress our immunity like steroids, immunosuppressants. Then, or if we are suffering from any chronic disorder, then we are more prone to these kind of superadded infections. So once we acquire the bacteria and viruses and the bacterial meningitis or the viral meningitis, the symptoms to these, they remain more or less uniform, and it is characterized by headache, fever, vomiting, stiffness in the neck. And if the infection is too much, it may also lead to seizures in which fits happen, in which people have abnormal activities and they lose consciousness. And if it is very severe and if left untreated, it may also lead to death of the person. But the good news is that this meningitis is easily recognized, and all the clinicians and especially the neurologists, they are trained to identify this meningitis early, and they have a simple remedy of giving IV antibiotics. So first we need to investigate that what is the cause of meningitis. So there are some investigations which help us in proper diagnosis, which is the MRI. So we do MRI without contrast. In that we can see that there is a swelling over the meninges. To see which kind of organism is infecting this meninges, we need to take sample of the liquid that circulates in our brain, which is called the CSF. So we do a lumbar puncture by a very thin needle that is inserted in the back, and from there we collect the fluid that circulates in the brain and we analyze that fluid. So in that fluid we get to know whether it is bacteria or virus, or another important source of infection of these meninges is the tuberculosis, which is very rampant in the society, especially in the slum areas. So this tubercular infection is also dormantly lodged in the lungs, and whenever the immunity goes down, the tubercular bacteria have an easy access to the meninges. So the treatment of tubercular meningitis is entirely different, where we give the anti-tubercular treatment, and for the rest of the infections, if it is bacteria, we give antibiotics, and if it is virus, then we give antiviral agents. The course of this infection varies. For tuberculosis, it is long, for approximately like 12 months to 18 months. For bacteria, it is approximately 14 to 21 days. And again, for viruses, it is 14 days. So, but the responsibility of in general public is, if you are suffering from symptoms like this, in which you are getting severe headache, backache, neck spasm, and fever, and some altered sensorium where you feel that your relative is not behaving in a normal manner, you must rush him immediately to the hospital so that this kind of infection can be identified and treated early. If we talk about prevention, so yes, some of them are preventable by vaccination. Especially this meningitis can infect any age group, starting from the infants to the children and up to the adults also, and even above 60 elderly people also they can infect. So in children and even in adults, some vaccinations are available like pneumococcal vaccines, and for children we also have Hib vaccine, which is the H influenza B vaccine, which commonly infects the infants and children. So if we are, not everybody needs these vaccinations, but yes, if you are immunocompromised or if you are on some drugs which may lead to suppression of your immunity, you must take these vaccines to prevent yourself from community acquired infections, which may ultimately lead to meningitis. Thank you.